What up, fam? Hope you're all having a great day. Today I want to talk about a Swedish exploitation film, and in my opinion, one of the best exploitation films from the 70s, called Thriller, They Call Her One Eye. And this is definitely a film that's not for everyone. And if you're sensitive to certain types of subject matter, don't watch this film. I'm just telling you. And it's just not a film that is made for everyone. It's a assault revenge film, which was one of the biggest subgenres in the exploitation genre. Anyway, overall, this is a really badass movie. And it does contain some disturbing and uncomfortable subject matter. Anyway, without further ado, it's a Swedish exploitation film, and it's about a young woman growing up on the countryside in Sweden, who lives on a farm, who is mute because as a child she went through a very traumatic incident. And it actually doesn't show anything, of course, but it kind of shows you what is going to happen to her as a child. And that is actually the most disturbing part of this film. So probably if you're not going to be interested in it, you could turn it on for like 2 minutes, and then if you're not going to be interested in the film, you'll know. You'll definitely know. It's definitely the most disturbing part of the movie. Anyway, she's mute, and she's raised by, I believe, her grandparents. It might be her parents, but I'm pretty sure it's her grandparents. And they love her very much, and they've been putting her through speech therapy this whole time, but no progress. But she's just a very nice girl. And anyway, one day she misses the bus to town, and there's this guy, this super swaggy guy in a sports car, who pulls up right next to her and says, "Hey, hop in the sports car. Do you know of any reason why you shouldn't come with me?" Anyway, she's had a really boring life, obviously, for the most part, and she wants to go with him. So she goes out to dinner with him and goes back to his place. And this guy is an absolute douchebag. He drugs her and hooks her on, I believe it's heroin. Yeah, hooks her on heroin, and kind of leaves her unconscious and is putting heroin in her system for like 2 weeks straight, and gets her addicted, unconsensually addicted to heroin. So he has a lot of control over her and pretty much forces her to be a prostitute for a bunch of really rich elites. And this is actually a kind of a subject matter that's pretty relevant right now with all the Epstein stuff and that horrible situation going on right now with that. And it kind of gives you a little bit of justice when you hear about stories like that, because this is a story about a woman that builds herself up. She's in the worst situation. She's degraded. She's put through horrible things, and through that, every time she's forced to be a prostitute, she gets money, and she also has 1 day off every week. So she's saving her money. And then on her days off, she's learning kung fu. She's learning kind of like guerrilla style wrestling, like the guerrillas in the war. She's learning how to shoot, become an expert sharpshooter. She's learning about ballistics. She's learning how to drive like a rock star, honestly. She's doing all this. And there's this one scene in the film. That's just super powerful, and actually was later copied by I Spit on Your Grave, 1977, I Spit on Your Grave. Her parents killed themselves because the guy who kidnaps her writes her grandparents a letter that pretty much says, "I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to live with you guys. I don't like you guys. You guys have been holding me down my whole life. So she finds out that they killed themselves, and she goes to visit them actually on one of her days off, and then she sees their funeral, and something pops in her brain, and she walks into this church, and she's crying, and she looks up at the cross, and she knows what she's called to do. She's called to put an end to these people. And that's just a super awesome scene to me. That's one of my favorite scenes of this film. Anyway, they call her One Eye because the first time she has a client, she fights back. And she's not trained at this moment, and that's why she can't fight back successfully. But she claws the guy in the face, and as punishment, the pimp that kidnaps her, cuts out her eye. And so she has to wear eye patch, which obviously sucks, but it makes her into a badass. She's an absolute badass. So anyway, she turns herself into this Rambo-esque figure, and once she's fully prepared, once she's trained in martial arts, once she knows how to shoot, once she knows about guns, once she knows how to drive, she breaks into the arsenal. The guy that's training her, she breaks into his arsenal, and she just loads up. She just saws off this shotgun. It's just an awesome scene, man. Like, she's just sawing off that shotgun. She tapes like a little Ruger to the back of her neck, behind her hair, and she has this awesome trench coat with her. It's just a super iconic look. She has a sawed-off shotgun with a trench coat with her eye patch. Anyway, she shows up to one of the guys, one of her clients' houses, and she just blows his brains out. And this is the thing. It is a disturbing film, and it's a hard film to watch for most people because the depictions of the assaults that happen in this film are pretty extreme. But the revenge is even more hardcore, and the revenge is so satisfying. I mean, she blows this guy's head and just splatters blood everywhere, and then she shoots him again. And the violence in this film is in such slow motion. It's not just in slow motion, it's in like slow motion, and then they slowed it again, they slowed it again, they slowed it again, and it's just like beautifully shot. It's just like, it's almost like a dance. Like the violence in this film, with her revenge in this film, it's almost like a dance. Just showing her slowly pulling the trigger, her hair going back, and then the guy's face, just blowing up. It's just awesome, not gonna lie. Anyway, she takes out each of her clients, really just attackers. She takes them out one by one, and it's just super satisfying to watch. And at the end, there's this showdown between a standoff, this duel between her and the pimp, and it's just so awesome. I mean, it's one of the most satisfying revenge scenes in any film. It's just an awesome, badass film. At the same time, it's going to be hard to watch for a lot of people. And I do want to say, the original Swedish version is called Thriller, a Cruel Picture. And the difference is there are scenes in it of like actual adult stuff going on, and that's just super inappropriate for the film. The first initial release was like that. It doesn't make sense for the film. It's a film about really touchy, sensitive subject matter, and for them to put that in there, and it was put in after, I guess, too. It couldn't be played. The thing is, this film couldn't be played in normal theaters. Normal distribution companies didn't want to touch it, so they put that in to appeal to a different kind of crowd. It was super inappropriate of them to do that, and with the American release, that was completely cut out. There's nothing like that in this film, to that extent at all. All the adult stuff is cut out for the most part. I mean, there is some slight stuff going on, but it's not hardcore, very soft. And anyway, Thriller, they call her One Eye. That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about Thriller, A Cruel Picture, because I think Thriller, A Cruel Picture, the first release, is just not good. I think they added things in that first release that should not have been there. But Thriller, they call her One Eye. It's one of my favorite exploitation films, and it just screams 70s. I mean, the look, the grainy footage, it's just one of the best exploitation films. Most exploitation films, a lot of them are super low budget. This one is also low budget, but most of them are just cheesy. Most of them don't take the subject matter seriously. And Thriller, They Call Her One Eye really does take it seriously. Like I said, not the first release, but when they re-released it, it's really a different feel. It's a different film, really, and it's just a great performance by I forget her name. I think it's Christina Lindberg. I'm pretty sure. I really don't want to get the name wrong, and I apologize if I do, because she gives a great performance in this film. It's just a badass film, and anyway, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's obviously not a masterpiece. But it's a personal favorite of mine with exploitation films, and it's just a really great revenge film. And the revenge is very satisfying, but again, it's not going to be for everyone. Anyway, Thriller, They Call Her One Eye. Check it out if you want, if you dare. Anyway, have a great day, and God bless.